So ProfitBricks is what we call the second generation infrastructure as a service company. And that means a couple key things to us. One, it means first generation, we're focused on how you take a server up, cut them up in small pieces, make it economical for people to move from traditional hosting to the cloud. And the IaaS players made money because they sold the whole server out. So what ProfitBricks is a second generation. Our primary focus is how you deliver performance to the customer. And by performance, we mean traditionally you had horizontal scale at an Amazon or a Rackspace. You could build you had limited vertical scale. So our primary focus as a company is, one, delivering performance to the end customer for his services and applications. So by that, you can have horizontal scale, but you can create really large instances. Think 48 cores, 196 gig of RAM, essentially unlimited storage. And if you think of databases and all sorts of applications that want to scale vertically, it's the first time that in infrastructure service, you can deliver on that. So what Achim and Andreas, the two co-founders of the company, did is they built a graphical tool which allows you to essentially drag and drop servers onto the page, grab storage, and then you can just connect all the different servers and all the storage. You can change CPU RAM. You hit apply. 2 minutes later, you have your entire interface. So it's what we call the world's first virtual data center. And it's very different than what anyone else has done. It also means that, think of traditionally very horizontal scale. Essentially, all those servers are focused out to the web, connected to the web. But with us, it doesn't have to be that way. You might have some front-end web servers, other servers behind that, databases behind that, firewalls behind that. And so it offers another level of security and flexibility. You can have any data center you want to design. Give everyone the performance they need, the flexibility they need, and do it at a price point that's lower than almost anyone else out there. So we actually price by the minute. And we're one of the first guys to really price by the minute. And because we allow you to start with the very smallest instance that you want, right? You're charging the least amount and you're scaling up only as you need it. So for the first time, it's not, build what I will need in the future and then pay for it by the hour or 6-month plan that I have to buy. It's build the smallest amount I need, pay by the minute, and scale and only pay for what I use.
From the technology standpoint, what we did totally new and what is not expected or not done before is we use InfiniBand as a networking layer, or not networking hardware. InfiniBand is mostly known out of the HPC, high-performance computing area. So roughly 2/3 of all 500 supercomputers use InfiniBand as transport protocol. It's a very fast and low latency protocol or hardware. And we virtualized that and set Ethernet on top of it. So we have 10 kernel developers just dedicated to doing kernel development on virtualization, hypervisor, tweaking, and make everything work. So for the customer in the end, it's just a very fast Ethernet network and very low latency. So the technology enables us to offer future services like SSD storage, which has the native performance of SSDs. Because right now, if Amazon or Rackspace, whoever wants to offer SSD, they probably put it in local storage, and you don't have the benefit of a cloud, because cloud should scale up and down as you need it. But if you have local attached storage again, you cannot scale. That's what you have right now. Also, we invested lots of time in getting this vertical scalability. So during the runtime of a machine, adding some CPUs, adding RAM, and also taking it away again. So this is not really easy, because imagine you have a database running and all of a sudden it has got more CPUs or less RAM. You need to do this somehow, and it should work. And this is, from a technology point of view, really interesting. And we made it work, and we released in September the automatic upscaling, and shortly after that the downscaling as well. And we call it live scaling. And so it's always basically breathed with what your needs are. So you never overspend, because you never have too much hardware. And if you get low, you really get very fast, you get the power you need. So it goes up and down as you need. you don't, and you always pay only what you need, of course, and it's by the minute. Another piece of technology is a storage system, which we're developing right now. Also, it's a distributed block storage device where you can have hundreds, thousands of snapshots, and all snapshots are the same file, the same speed, and really scales out. For the customer, it just looks like a hard disk, but in the end, it's replicated RAID 10's kind of storage all over the place with snapshotting, DDoP, and thin provisioning capabilities, and that makes it really easy for system owners. You don't have to care anymore about using your MD device or anything because it's built in. We didn't have any customers, so we didn't have that problems like Amazon or any of the other guys have. Dozens of dedicated servers, and what I'm going to do now with these dedicated servers, I need to offer some cloud, and so okay, do some virtualization, and I cut it into 4 pieces and sell them each separate and pretend I'm a big infrastructure service host. But that's not what I want to do. What I want to have as a system engineer, really. I want to have that flexibility to really design a virtual data center just like I want to have it. No fixed boundaries on how much RAM and how many CPU cores I have. I just want to mix it as I need it. And flexibility of private networking, load balancing, and so on and so forth. And so the idea was born 2.5 years ago, and then took till today more or less to build the product. Of course, it's never going to be finished. We'll always add new features and stuff. And Rizika, we both are co-founders of 1&1 and did this for the last 15 years. And 2009, we dropped out because we didn't extend our contract because we said, okay, we did this for long enough and we need to do something new. And then that's when the idea of that infrastructure as a service was born. Also, 1&1 has a stake in us, 30% share of ProfitBricks, so I did the technology part in 1&1, the whole data centers and development and project management and so on, and Andreas was in charge of the whole product management for web hosting.
You guys built that for over $1 billion business, right? So
$2 billion, actually.